All right, we're here to talk about State of Origin game number 2 and the injuries and what sort of effect they might have on the game. The biggest talking point's been Billy Slater's shoulder injury and what effect that's going to have. And in game 1 he was targeted, and in game 2 he's probably going to be targeted again. From my reading, he's got what they call a labral tear, which is the little bit of cartilage deep inside the joint here. It makes the socket bigger than the ball and socket. And it tears off the bone inside there and gets in the way of the joint. It won't heal on its own. It needs surgery to repair it, and it's manageable at times. Some people can continue most of their function with that tear, but the joint does get irritable and can stir up and get swollen inside there with some activity and make it difficult to use your arm. So Billy's going to need some surgery at some time, but he's at the moment coping pretty well with that. But I'm sure that New South Wales will target him with their kicking game and their defensive game, and trying to stir up his shoulder, making him land on that arm and that shoulder as much as possible and give him a good workout. We compare that to, say, Robbie Farah's shoulder injury from New South Wales. He's got an AC joint injury from my reading, and that's where the collarbone joins on to your shoulder blade here and this ligament here. In Robbie Farah's case, that's blown out, almost completely gone, and that's not so important to the function of your shoulder. You can actually play on in football codes with that injury, and usually a painkiller injection. So Robbie Farah will be likely to have a painkilling injection before the game tomorrow, and probably another one at half time to keep him in the game. But it can affect his passing to the opposite arm. So if it's his right arm that's affected, his passing towards his left-hand side could be affected. And so we'll just have to wait and see how that goes during the game. It could slow some of the play for New South Wales out of dummy half. So both of those injuries will certainly be significant in the game, and I think you can see that Queensland have been training with Greg Inglis on the wing, but I think a lot of that's going to be to cover for Billy Slater as he goes back and give Greg Inglis, who should be a little bit fresher from his knee injury, a posterior cruciate ligament injury. He should be getting a little bit fresher now from having a couple of weeks off in between these State of Origin games. The other two interesting injuries are probably Paul Gallen's butt, where he had a ruptured tendon in his butt, and he's coming back, and probably the biggest thing for him is a big fella like that will probably be lacking a little bit of his fitness with only one game under his belt coming into probably the fastest game of the season. So we'd like to see how he goes, and I'd expect him to spend some time on the bench, which is not usual for him. Similarly for Queensland, they've got Matt Scott. He's coming back from injury, and he hasn't had a lot of training time leading up to this game, and he was a big metres gainer for Queensland in the first game. So those two players will be interesting how fit they are, and I think whoever wins that battle, Matt Scott versus Paul Gallen, could end up having a big say in the final result.